in the annex out there, so, not yet. But if y'all stand with me, we'll open up in prayer and pledge. Pray with me. Dear Lord, just thank you for the many blessings you've given Stallings. We just give you all the praise and glory. Guide us tonight and do what's best for our town. Just be with us and protect us. We also ask for you to protect our men and women in uniform, both here and abroad. Be with them, protect them, and bring them home safe. Everything we do and say, we give you all the praise and glory. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks for everybody coming out tonight. So first up is our special presentation by Chief Franks.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening.
If I could call up, well, it's for Sergeant Ben Davis, but it's now Lieutenant Ben Davis, and Officer Justin McLemore, if they could come up to the front. Council, as you know, we like to recognize our officers in service to the community. And in a real quick summary, I'm going to read the memorandum on this life-saving award. On March 12th, 2025 at 8:23 p.m., Stallings police officers were dispatched to an overdose at In-Town Suites. Sergeant Davis and Officer McLemore responded and arrived within 1 minute of being dispatched. Officers were able to quickly ascertain the subject had overdosed on fentanyl and located a subject unconscious and in full cardiac arrest lying on the bathroom floor. Officer McLemore administered Narcan and began CPR. Sergeant Davis began setting up the automated external defibrillator and began to assist with CPR. Sergeant Davis then administered a second dose of Narcan and began rescue breathing while Officer McLemore continued CPR. Within a few minutes of beginning these life-saving measures, the subject was revived with a strong pulse back and began breathing on his own. The subject was turned over to emergency medical services for further care and evaluation. Both Davis and McLemore's quick response and efforts resulted in the saving of this person's life. It's actions such as this and your sense of duty that help continue to make our community a safer place to work and live. And I want you to accept my gratitude for a job well done. Both officers will receive a certificate, and they both will receive life-saving ribbons to wear on their uniform. So, gentlemen, thank you. Sergeant Davis. Oh, over here for a picture. Yeah, guys.
All right, great job, guys. Chief, I always like for you to hire guys bigger than you. Yeah, that makes us feel safer.
Take it easy.
All right, next up is our public comments. We have an open mic public comments where you come up and talk about any subject. We do have 2 public hearings tonight, but if you want to come up and speak, did we have anybody? Nobody signed up, but did anybody want to sign up that didn't know you had to sign up over there that wanted to speak? Like I said, we have 2 public hearings, so you might want to speak in that, and so we'll have a time for the public to speak on that. So, okay, not hearing anybody. So next up is our consent agenda. Couple of changes here, so bear with me. All right. On the consent agenda B, I'd like to move that to 9A because I want to get a vote on that, even though I'll go ahead and let everybody know our Mayor Pro Tem is out of the country on vacation. Lori had the death of a friend, and she's attending to that family, and then Taylor Ray Drake is not here tonight. So we do have a quorum. We can conduct business, but that's why they're not here. So, move B to 9A. And on C, number 1, the cameras. Just wanted to give Eunice and Chief a chance to go over that. So if we can move that to 8A, Eunice is already speaking on the Veterans Day event. So while she's up there, she can speak to that. I want to add Crestwind to number 3A after our agenda approval. So they'll come up first. And then I wanted to move the Hendricks Manufacturing Campus conditional zoning up to 3B. and then move the family care homes update to 3C. So just, the people, so I like for the people that are here to be able to
Yep, that's fine.
get home quick instead of staying here for 2 hours listening to us ramble on.
So what was 3C again? Just,
3C is the family care homes update.
okay.
All right. Aaron, does that make sense to you? As long as, all right, well,
Mayor, I'd also recommend item 9 be removed from tonight, since we have only 3 of us here. That feels like a broader council discussion you wanted to have.
sure.
Let's do that.
Yeah, there's no time sensitive on that.
So I'll make the motion. There's no way I can summarize all that you said, so
Yeah, just-
I'll approve that as amended and ask the clerk to walk us through all of that tonight.
All right. Motion by Brad, second by Stephen. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right, first up is Crestwind. Emily Powell and Kevin Presley are here, I know. I'll let
Just
them,
do reports. We didn't do
Oh,
reports tonight. I don't have a report, but did you have a report? Does council have?
no, excuse me. Hold up, Kevin, Emily. Keep me in line there, Brad, since David's not here.
Looks like
No, I don't have a report. Anybody else? Any council?
I do not. No.
All right.
There's been,
But,
No
but
additional
Eunice wanted to talk about the Purpose Pilot Program. Right?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Yep. Good afternoon, council. I just wanted to give you guys an update on what we're doing in the park. So we did a pilot program last month. It's called Parks with a Purpose. What we've done is compiled a list of survey questions, and we're sporadically going into the parks every quarter and asking the public what they would like to see in the parks in the future. We just thought this would be a great way to get some citizen data as we start to move forward. We're kind of at a great place that we have a lot of things that are already happening in our parks. We're starting to grow. Stallings is getting bigger. So we thought this was a great, cost-affordable way to just get some survey data from community members that all really needs is me at a tent with some questions, people filling them out, and we've also kind of looped the community committee in tonight, and they are going to come up with some more suggestions to add to the survey. We would love for you guys to do that as well. Shoot me an email if you guys have anything that you could think of that you want to add. We are wanting to do this till 2027, and like I said, this is every quarter, different times of the day. We're going to be posting about more information on our Facebook page, and I'll definitely kind of consolidate something, send it to the town manager, and have him send it to you guys about what we plan on doing in the future. But just wanted to update y'all if you see us out in the park collecting survey data.
All right.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
And then Jesse passed out the budget line item transfers. I know we just got it, so if anybody has any questions over it, the next couple of days, let Alex and Jesse know if they have any questions about any of the transfers. All righty. Chief, any report tonight? Okay. All righty. Well, now we'll get to it. So Emily, Kevin? I asked, y'all know I've been talking about this project for a while, so, and I understand from talking from Alex, y'all had a lot of questions. I know David had some, so I thought it best just to get them here tonight, let them make their short presentation on what they, up to date on the project, and then answer any questions that y'all might have, whatever information you need. They're here to answer. They got Kevin here and some of the other Emily's team, so I'll turn it over to you. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you. Good evening. Appreciate your time, Mayor, council members. I will be brief as I can with the just high level, and feel free to ask any questions, or we can dig further as it makes sense at this point. We are here because we are working on property that we are wishing to bring into Stallings. It would be a residential community, and it is located on what would be the north side of Stallings. It would attach to the northern boundary of Stallings. It is a large property assemblage. It's a number of different landowners, and it is generally located Emerald Lakes on the southern side, 218 on the northern side, Rock Hill Church Road and Mill Grove Road. That's the general vicinity of the property that we're talking about. It's approximately 500 acres in size, and we're proposing and we're looking for a age-restricted, active amenity Crestwind branded community. We have a community here in Union County that is a Crestwind community, and we are looking to continue in Union County with a property that we would bring into the town of Stallings. This community would be similar to Crestwin Wesley Chapel. It would have a facilitated lifestyle director that plans events for the residents. It has heavy amenities within the community, private streets, gated, yard maintenance included. We would have a variety of home sites, and we have gone down the path with the TIA already. We would revise that with all of the property that we have included at this time. And we would also pursue a private sewer system. That sewer system would be permitted through the state of North Carolina. And there's a lengthy process that we would go through on that after we were to move forward with Stallings. That would include an engineering alternatives analysis that's submitted to the state. It is a process where multiple options are looked at with the state and the parameters of the site. From that point, then a design can be finalized, selected, and permitted. So it is a lengthy process on the sewer. It's running a few years at this time. Additionally, with our Crestwin communities, with it being an age-restricted community, we do not have children that are attending schools that are residents. So we are age-restricted, follow the FHA and HUD parameters on those community requirements. We do have a population that volunteers heavily in the community. It would be home buyers that would be from the vicinity and from out of the market. And we would anticipate that those homes would be for sale in the general time frame of 2029 to 2040, plus or minus. So it would be a long time frame. It wouldn't be an immediate, and it wouldn't be all at one time. And we would, with those home values, be supporting the economy in Stallings and the county without the typical tax burden of schools and without the typical burden of roads. Those would be maintained by the community. So that is just high level. We have had conversations with staff, and we would love to continue to pursue, but wanted to talk about parameters. We know this is outside of current town limits.
All right. Thanks, Emily.
Thank you.
You know, one of the reasons I asked them to come in here is I found out that the filing fees, just the filing fees that they have to get the rezoning and the annexation going is $53,000, which is a large amount of money. And so this is a little bit out of the, you know, we usually don't bring in developers and get some of this information beforehand, but I thought with when you're asking them to spend $53,000 plus, once they file it, then all the staff time that they have to invest in is going to be much more than that. So that's why I asked y'all to come prepared tonight to give them any suggestions or concerns or what you're looking for in this type of property that's residential, which our land use plan calls for residential in that whole area, even though it's not in our land use plan right now, but there's nothing, it's always going to be residential, and that's what the zoning is right now in Emerald Lake and that whole area. So, questions, concerns, suggestions for Emily and her team? Kevin's here, and he can answer some questions on the private sewer. So,
Well, I'll ask about the private roads. I mean, when I've gone back and looked at kind of the back data and looking at what our community's costs are, I mean, obviously roads is a big cost. So a lot of times what happens is that communities get built out and they realize that they can't put enough money in the coffers to pay for those roads, and then they come back to the town. I mean, is there going to be a really lofty amount of money that you're putting into? Because at 1,000 houses, is that roughly how big the community?
It's roughly 1,000, yes.
Okay. And how many miles of road do you think is probably?
I don't have that number off the top of my head, But I will tell you from, I think where your question is coming from on ultimately, does it stay private or does it come back to the town of Stallings? In our discussion with staff, they shared that that would be an item that would come up and that they would want to see a condition that the roads maintain gated, and that would be a condition to the zoning. So we have discussed that, understand that that's a concern, and that's something that we have to budget on the HOA side to make sure it's routinely maintained and updated so that it doesn't wait an extended time and then there are cost issues if that happens.
Yeah, I mean, for a neighborhood that big, you're probably looking at like $250 a house per year to maintain the level. I mean, based on my rough numbers, by the time your area would need to be paved. So what we see, I think, is communities don't realize the expense and they don't put enough money away, and that's the reason why they come back here. So I think that would be something I would like to see, is to make sure that they are going to, that would be one of the conditions, is that they're going to put up enough money to be able to support those roads. So, okay, that's probably one of my bigger things, is just that we kind of get usually burned by that in the long run, that they're private roads, and then suddenly, as soon as they actually need to be repaved,
Right.
they're back with us. Or they fall into disrepair because the communities have not put away the astronomical amount of money that it takes to repave roads.
So Mayor, oh, sorry, you done?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That was a great launch, but I appreciate this. It is unorthodox, and I don't think we've ever had a developer in for a pre-submittal for rezoning, but I guess, given the mayor's involvement with the project from an information standpoint for several months now, I think it's fine. I don't really have a lot to add. Here's what I would just be looking for in the process. Number one, when will you file a rezoning petition? That's sort of the critical point for me. All this starts then. I get the $58,000, but that's not a lot of money for a project this size. You would agree, I would imagine. I'd be looking for community feedback. What do the landowners adjacent to the property say? What do they feel? This is agricultural land, I assume now, up in that area. It's a big piece of land in what's rural, western Union County. So what's the community feedback? You know, that's an obvious part of the rezoning. So that's top of the list. Steve hit on something that's important. It's sort of the protections of the town a generation from now. We annexed Shawnemara and Emerald Lake in the early 2002, 2006 timeframe, I'm thinking. Yeah, so 25 years ago, and it's been a great neighborhood. I mean, no one would argue they are a fantastic group of citizens. They add a lot to the community. They do a lot of the things that you say this community would bring. So there are some positives. However, we spend a lot of money on Shawnemara roads, Emerald Lake roads. We did it this year, as we do in my neighborhood on the other side of town. It's just costly. I'd be looking for some assurances that a generation from now, the CCRs and the plats and the deeds have restrictions that would ensure no roads come back to the town for maintenance, and you've developed a mechanism that would create a budget for that. Or, and my preference might be, we talk about the roads becoming public roads. One thing I fear is that your homeowners, the thousands of them, will be paying property taxes to the town at the same rate I do, and then one day they'll wake up and say, our roads are in disrepair, we shouldn't have to do this. They'll all be here in force, 1,000 of them saying, take over our roads, and we haven't planned for that. The sewer system concerns me too. We've seen a presentation on that. The fact that you don't have access to county sewer is a real problem, and I get it. The technology is reportedly good and new and stable and sustainable for years and years and years. There's a fear that I'd like to have abated about what happens if the sewer system doesn't perform. Cost is town services. We've talked about roads. There are other things probably. Do we need more police? Do we need a park in the next generation? Again, I think we're talking about a generational shift of our town, you understand. It's not just, and I appreciate, by the way, you saying this is a build out from 2029 to 2035, or when you say?
40.
40.
It may be 41,
Yeah,
42, but
That's
it's,
great information, and I appreciate you showing it. It does tell me a little bit about the thinking of this, and it gives us a chance to think. But will we need new parks? Will we need new amenities? The town would be, or do we need landscape media? All that kind of stuff is part of this big decision. So it's not a light one, and it's not an easy one. That's why I do advocate that you get started soon. You pay the money if you want to have it in the queue, because it will take some time. I am not in favor of moving this quicker than normal. I'm not in favor of fast tracking this in any way, shape, or form. I think the managers put a recommendation to us to do a cost analysis, to do a sewer study to sort of understand the engineering behind that sewer plant. The land use plan that he recommended, I think I would let that one go. I feel like we can do that ourselves. Traffic, it's important. I do appreciate and understand the over 55 component of this, and I know the TIA will come back with lower traffic numbers, and that will be true. School system, I get it. It will show no students in the schools, and that's probably true. So those are good things. Those are in your favor. So I don't think I'm predisposed to vote yes or no tonight, but I appreciate the opportunity to hear about it early, and I would just encourage y'all to get down the path so we can get some certainty about this project and get you on your way. I drove through your project in Wesley Chapel last night. It's big, but it's nice. I was looking for something unique. Like, is it a different model, different kind of construction? And it's not. It's what you find in other communities in our area. My mother-in-law lives in Heritage and Indian Trail. Same wide streets, same landscape median, same home construction. So I was not disappointed, but I was fine with the construction quality and all of that. The amenity center was large, and it was really, really nice. You did a great job with that. What are your HOA fees for Crestwind and Wesley Chapel, do you know?
I don't know offhand.
Okay, and then you have one in Charlotte too, similar? And then where else do you have them in the southeast?
We're regional, so we're based heavily in Florida.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank y'all for being here. I think that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Brad. Stephen?
It is, in these communities, I don't know if you are, is like, since it's private, how does trash pickup work there? Is it a centralized dumpster, or is it?
It varies community to community on the service for that. And I noted everything you said. I don't want to respond just for the sake of everybody's
That's great. No, I
everything, so.
appreciate it. I didn't want to respond tonight. That's
We're
just-
okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
appropriate for that, really. We
I
need
agree.
to file the applications, we can start down the process of answering the questions.
And in this particular case, you think it would be just regular pickup?
I don't know what the service provider is yet.
Well, how does Wesley Chapel do it? Right.
It is private?
Part of their HOA dues.
Okay.
And with Crestwood Charlotte is, Locust, the one under construction.
Okay. Okay. I mean, that,
Are they all gated, like Charlotte is a gated?
Charlotte is non-gated.
They have
It's
public
public
streets in
roads
Charlotte, okay.
gated. Charlotte does not allow gating in private roads for connectivity. They're very focused on connectivity.
Yeah,
There are some municipalities that do and don't allow that, and some that do and don't like that. So it varies a little bit in each location. Wesley Chapel is private and gated.
and this is not in the town of Wesley Chapel, this is in the county, correct?
The Crestwood Wesley Chapel is in the county, correct?
But not inside the town.
But it is not in
limits.
with the municipal limits, correct?
Graham, this is in your district. What are your concerns you have, or as Brad and Stephen already touched on them?
Oh, I mean, I think I echo all of those concerns. I mean, you're looking at 1,000 homes, so roughly 1,700 to 2,000 people in a town of 16,000 currently, so current population. Public, they're gonna. So I echo those concerns. And then, yeah, it's the generational thing, you know, my kids are here and little, and I'm hoping that they'll stay, and I don't want some problems. I think we've seen some problems with private sewer. I think down the road, in fact, was a private sewer that then had to be taken over by the state. I would want reassurances that's not going to happen. I know that you can't necessarily plan for that, but as best as you can. Yeah, the traffic. I mean, it sounds like now the community would even connect to Rock Hill Church Road, and that is a accessing and getting onto that road. We've had similar thing come before another project. That'd be my
All right.
Thank
Did y'all
you.
want to give us an update on the sewer, or do you want to do it some other time, or it's up to y'all?
I think high,
Questions we'll be glad to ask. I
Yeah.
think we
You already covered
I
that.
think high level, yeah.
I'd love to see where you're connecting. The first time we saw this was not contiguous. It was a satellite annexation request. Now there's a connection. Could you show me, or could staff show us pretty quickly after the meeting where that is? Do y'all know? The land that's proposed that now would be contiguous to, you said Emerald
Yeah.
Lake?
It's contiguous across the street, so not on the same side. So on the east where Emerald Lakes is on the west.
Right.
So if you were to look at
Just send
Emerald
us-
Lakes as
yeah,
it
Could y'all send us
stretches.
a map of, I don't know,
Yes,
I tried
for
to
sure.
figure out how you might do that.
Yep,
Like,
we can send you a map.
Klontz property. The
Klontz.
property's right across there, just a little.
So
small
right
connection
across,
to it, right across
okay,
from
find the,
Klontz.
it was like a, I think I saw that. Okay, got it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all coming.
Mayor, if I may, I do want to get direction on this to see what we as staff can do. And thank you to Ms. Powell, Mayor Presley, thank y'all for coming here tonight. It's great information. We look forward to working with you on this application. So I know, I wanted to clarify the best approach for staff, what we can do to help you all get the information that you need so you can make an informed decision. Several things have been brought up. I heard the land use plan, that might not be necessary. Financial operations and impact analysis, that would be helpful in your analysis. I've heard differing perspectives on the third-party sewer technology evaluation. So I wanted to get clarification on whether we should pursue that or not. Because we probably need to go through the RFQ process. I know, Mayor, you've shared with me, you'd love to get it back to y'all by December. I think if we go through that, we wouldn't be able to make that deadline. So just want to talk about that and get direction as staff members so that we can get y'all the information you need.
All right. Well, let's wait till the first meeting in September. While David's here, Lori will be back. I want to get, the whole council, and Taylor Ray may be at the meeting. Y'all saw my input on what I think. That's where I stand on them, so.
Make a note to continue it on in the
Yeah.
next meeting. Awesome, thank you.
All right. All right, next up is, I moved up, Hendricks, conditional zoning 25.03.01, Hendricks Manufacturing Campus, and I'll open the public hearing. So why don't y'all come on in? Hey, for y'all to stand outside. It was a freezer an hour ago, so we did get the. But I'll go ahead and say, anybody that's never been out to the Hendricks complex, that's unbelievable. First-class organization, and it's just unbelievable. Appreciate the hospitality y'all gave us touring around, just unbelievable. So.
Hello, Council. So, just for everybody that doesn't know, I'm Max Strong. I'm the Planning Director for the Town of Stallings. I'm here to present the memo for CZ 250301 for the Hendrick Advanced Manufacturing Campus. So the Hendrick site is 18.4 acres and encompasses 5 parcels on Matthews Indian Trail Road. They are submitting a conditional zoning, but the conditional zoning doesn't have a traditional site plan attached to it, because they're wanting to provide flexibility and development standards for their site. As you can see, the site is on Matthews Indian Trail at Marie Garris, across from Scott Clark Toyota and Bailey Mills subdivision, and is adjacent to the town of Matthews. The zoning for the site's C74, so commercial 74, and Hendrick is requesting a conditional zoning IND industrial, so conditional zoning industrial for the site, because they're requesting an advanced manufacturing campus there. So the permitted uses and the building lot types and how they're going to build it are in the development standards in the conditional zoning. And those development standards were included in the agenda packet. And they would have to follow the industrial highway building lot type. Additionally, there's some transportation improvements in there, so they don't know the end user. Specifically, they're just providing the list of development standards because they don't know who their end user is going to be. So that time when they do find out the end user, they're going to then submit a TIA, a traffic impact analysis at that time. And all this is stated in the development standards, including management, stormwater management, building dimensions, streetscape design, things like that are incorporated in those development standards. Just for some more regional context, the town of Matthews approved a conditional zoning on their site. On this map, it's maybe hard to see on the screen, but everything in yellow is in the town of Matthews, and they have an approved conditional zoning. And it's almost identical to what the Hendrick has submitted for this conditional zoning for an advanced manufacturing campus.
Well, that was one of my questions. So
Yes, there you go.
almost the same?
Yes, it's just, Hendrick sent it to me to review, and I didn't have any specific town of Stallings guidelines that really changed their conditional zoning, so they really just submitted almost an identical development standards list. And this section in blue is the town of Stallings. So their development standards provide flexibility so that it could be any type of configuration that go over county lines, municipal lines. It could be a different combination of buildings, parking lot structures, roads. We just don't know those end users, so they don't have a site plan out right now. So there's also a list of uses that are prohibited in the development standards as well. And the future land use for this site is suburban office complex, and what they're proposing for advanced manufacturing fits the future land use and complies with it, providing opportunities for employment and large-scale professional offices. So I know Hendrick's here, they're gonna present some information as well, but staff does recommend approval of CZ 250301 as submitted, and it fits the goals of the comprehensive land use plan, the economic development plan for providing employment, office, and commercial opportunities in the area.
And the planning board?
The planning board did recommend approval as well at their last meeting. Forgot the date, so apologize. Yeah.
I have questions for Max? Brad?
Just easy ones. Talk about, you mentioned when a user is identified, they would complete a TIA. I assume implicit within that is they would do a TIA, it would show some road improvements, they would do the road improvements. That's what you mean, right?
Correct.
More than just doing a TIA.
Yes, correct.
So part of the rezoning, requires a TIA when a user identified, and then they would be committed to doing the road improvements.
Yes.
Okay. It just
exactly.
wasn't explicit in your words. I thought that's what I heard. And just talk briefly about buffering requirements between industrial and residential.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna scroll down, it's a little bit longer to get to it, but there are development standards, it's about 3 or 4 pages long of development standards. Sorry, I can't see too well up here. So these are the standards that run with the land, and let's see, the development standards, I think it's for the conditional zoning, from an adjacent zoning, it's 40 feet.
Like a type A buffer.
And that's a
40 feet.
type A with 90% opacity. I'm trying to find the exact language here, but they would be required to follow the development standards in the ordinance. I just wanted to run through as well. These are just the prohibited uses. While I scroll through, there's appearance, dimensional standards. And I don't think that it's now that I'm looking at it and remembering reading it, I'm not sure it says exactly 40 feet. It just says it's going to follow the ordinance on buffering standards.
Type
Yeah.
A, 40 feet.
Yes.
Got it, okay.
I didn't see anything about the extended, the extra space for the second part of the museum. And
Would you like Hendra to come up here and talk about their project?
we're just giving him a hard time.
Yeah.
That's all.
All right, any other questions for Max? All right,
Yeah. Hendrick's here if you want to talk to him.
who from Hendricks? Yeah, I did, yeah, yeah.
I'll let you start.
Yeah. Mayor Dunn, thank you for those kind words earlier. And council members, thank you for allowing us to speak this evening. So
Introduce yourself.
Oh, Gene Kochi, Vice President of Corporate Real Estate for the Hendrick Companies. So our vision for Stallings Matthews Campus is very much like that of you've seen in Concord. We're here to give an update on that process. So the end users are not clearly identified, but they are, we are having a lot of solicitation. There's a lot through the EDC, Duke Readiness, a lot of business partners. We're doing a lot of discovery on the infrastructure. The site readiness is key to what we feel the next steps are. These end users that are actively seeking our property, they don't wait, build it and they come to us. When they make a decision, they have a contract and we have to fulfill their needs. And part of that is, what we can offer them on the 3 to 5, 7 years. And so tonight, we're just going to give an update as to where we're at in that process. Greg Hartley will do that.
I'm Greg Hartley with Acro Development Services. We do land planning and civil engineering. So just to give you an update of where we are on the site readiness, so we've been working behind the scenes trying to make sure that we get infrastructure ready for some of these end users. I do want to answer one of your questions you asked earlier about whether the standards are the same as Matthews. Basically, they are. We added a little more restrictive lighting standards because we are next to the residential, so we are making sure the lighting has residential cutoff shields, and everything we do is only down lighting, so everything has to be projected downwards, except in like truck docks and things where it's internal. You may use some floodlights. But as far as the update on the site readiness, so the things we've been working on, we have met with Charlotte Water a few times. We just met with them again 2 weeks ago to talk about how both portions, the Union and Mecklenburg County portions, would be served. They basically said that, as long as they get something worked out with Union County, they would be able to serve this area with sewer. We would need a lift station to pump it to a gravity location, but we are working through that. They have performed the preliminary portions of a pre-capacity study. They have not given us any results yet, but they are identifying downstream areas that may require some capital improvement projects. So they are identifying those now. We provided some additional information to help them kind of get to that point. So we do expect in the next couple of weeks to get a little more information on that. On the environmental side, we did have our Army Corps of Engineers site visit. They did agree with the sub-consultant for the environmental wetlands and streams. So we are starting that process of getting some pads areas ready on a plan to get that permitted through the Army Corps and through DEQ. So that's kind of where we are on that portion of it. We've had some updates on the power side as well. We're working on that. And as far as the transportation goes, yes, we would need to do a TIA once we get a user. Understanding and kind of explaining why we want to do it this way is some of the users, we have four specific have offered between, or wanted between 50 and 200 acres. So it's roughly a 200-acre site. So depending on the size of the first user that comes in, the TIA would only reflect that specific user. So there would be phased improvements based upon the specific users. And depending on the size, some of the users have a tremendous number of employees, others are, when I say tremendous, higher than usual, but all of them are high employee producing companies. Questions?
Yeah, you mentioned sewer, obviously, in this part of the county, sewer's always an issue. So with the majority of the project being in Mecklenburg County and Matthews, I imagine CMUD is going to handle the sewer on that part.
That's correct.
Are they going to handle the sewer on the Stallings part, or do you
Yep.
have to?
Yep.
Oh, so you just.
But
talked
they
about-
said that they couldn't answer affirmative yes without having the discussion, but they see no reason that since the majority of it is in Mecklenburg County, they would handle that.
Well, you mentioned the lift station, so I guess you need,
We would have a private lift station, that's correct. So we're starting the process right now of laying out some individual potential parcels, just to market those and kind of identify where we would end up with a lift station, where it needs to pump to, starting the infrastructure for that piece to get to basically the sewer that goes under 485.
thank you. All right, any questions for Hendrick folk?
I feel bad. I've already peppered them with lots of questions last Friday.
On the tour?
Yeah.
So,
And just access to the site looks to be just Marie Garris,
Campus Ridge. Mhm.
but a network of roads through the site connecting all the properties.
That's correct. So we would anticipate that this would be either widening and/or depending on the size. Let's say somebody came in and needed 150 acres, it may be a total relocation of all of those roadways.
This is fantastic. I mean, these are always really transformative, and I get that. I will go back to just basics here, industrial against residential. I hate to do that. Did we have the neighborhood meeting? Did everybody come out? Did the residents get notified? Was there any feedback from the folks on Vicky Lane?
Talked about the sewage.
Oop,
We had a big thing about the sewage.
wait, who's that?
My name's Mark Starr. I live in Vicky Lane for years.
Okay, could you,
Well, let him speak at the public hearing.
yeah, when they finished, and then we'll let you come on up and
I'm
speak on it.
sorry.
That's all right.
So I'm just curious so yes, there was some outreach.
So, I apologize, I was late to that meeting, I had a subcommittee meeting right
Sorry.
before, but I did have the other staff there. They did submit a write-up of the neighborhood meeting. We did have a neighborhood meeting, we had the subcommittee meeting, we had planning board. So as part of the neighborhood meeting, everybody within 500 feet gets a mailer. And we did have that, I think we had about 15 residents in this room. And they discussed buffering and sewer and just had general questions about the development. I don't know at the time if there was any opposition or anything specific that the neighbors asked. They just asked general development questions.
All right, any other questions for Hendrick folk? All right, we may come back to you.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. And then, sir, could you come on up? We're open up for public comments.
Oh, yeah. I just thought you were asking in general, when we talked about it, biggest thing was the sewage.
Yeah, well, come on up and make it official. Come on, we won't bite.
What do you get for speaking up?
That's right. You got a loud voice anyway, so it's,
Well,
and I need to know your name and your address.
my
please.
name's Mark Starr. I live in Vicky Lane. I've lived there probably over 35, 40 years now. So seen my father and mother and all that, just grew up right around here and seen it, how nice it's growing, and they showed us some, when we were here, the 15 probably people we were talking about, they showed us some nice slides and everything of the process of what goes down and everything, and it was beautiful and everything, so everybody's pleased with all that. We were just concerned about a few issues, and one of them was the sewage, because we know sometimes the bigger people get the better sewage, and the little people can suffer on that, that end. So,
Well, I imagine Vicky Lane sewer is Union County, correct?
yes,
Yeah.
it sure is.
So they're gonna be wanting CMUD, so.
Yeah. So,
Right, well, Mark,
I
that's all.
have a little more information.
Sure. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
See, that wasn't that bad, was it?
So we actually did discuss that. One of the things, and I'm not sure how that's being worked out, was I've been also coordinating with Charlie, Chief Porter from the fire department about the new fire station. And there was some discussion about Union County serving that fire station. I'm not sure what that pertains, but it doesn't sound like they worked out an alternate of needing an easement through Hendrick property, but I don't know where that's moving forward. There was discussion about septic and during heavy rains, getting like a film on top of some of the backyards, I believe, most of it. So obviously on our end, we'll make sure that the property lines, if we're accepting stormwater, we'll try to get that out of there. And any way we can resolve the problems around the perimeter, we'll do that.
Well, Alex, do we have any update on the new fire station or anything that you're aware of?
I believe they've submitted plans. Did they?
So they have a approved concept plan. The next step would be construction documents. I think they submitted construction documents very recently. We have a slew of conditional zonings and construction documents,
We'll get
everything
back to you
blending
on that,
together
Mayor.
right this
All right,
second.
so it's moving forward.
Yes,
Sir.
yes, it's in the middle of the site plan development review process.
All right. Okay, any comments from council? Any questions for Hendrick folk? All righty, well, I'll close the public hearing, and then any discussion from the council, or what's the pleasure of the council?
I'll let Mr. Ayers make the motion since he's enamored with the cars at Hendrick.
Yeah. I know that people go out there and work, but I mean, that looked more like an adult playground, and I mean adult in the most nicest way possible. So yeah, I'll make the motion to approve CZ 25.03.01.
0201, yep.
Yep.
Got it. All right, we got a motion by Mr. Ayers to approve the conditional zoning. Can I get a second? Second by Graham. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. All right, now the $1,000,000 question is for the Hendricks folks. Do you know who Marie Garris is? I do not. All right, I just bought a car from Scott Clark, and I told him, I asked everybody there at Scott Clark that's on Marie Garris, do they know who Marie Garris is? And not a soul did, so it's a good bar bet now that you're gonna have property over there. She was the first town clerk of town of Stallings for how many years?
Forever until I came.
Yeah, so the town is 50 years old this year, so she was there, she was the town clerk for,
1975, pre-1975 to 2000.
yeah, so she's the town clerk. She still lives in Stallings, and she's a great lady. She's on our historical committee, so I was just teasing y'all a little bit. But now you know, when somebody asks you. All right, so now we got our statement of consistency and reasonableness. I won't read it. It's, so can I get a motion to approve the statement of consistency and reasonableness for conditional zoning 25.03.01?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Ayers, second by Mr. Richardson. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Welcome to Stallings. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Let's see, that's 3B. No, that was 3B, yeah. Now 3C is a family care homes update. So I know I'm out of order, Max, so sorry.
It's okay. Just wanted to find, I can't see everything in the screen, so if I pull up something wrong, I apologize. Just trying to get everything together. Had everything in order, now I have to.
I know, I apologize. I should have sent you an email
No, it's okay.
because I had this figured out before.
Okay, so,
We made this whole thing to make sure that you could deal with things coming at you.
Yeah,
Because
nice
like 25 developments at one time wasn't enough.
I appreciate it. I'm
No,
kidding.
no problem.
Just kidding. So yes, thank you, council. This is the family care home status and next steps. Council provided a request that they wanted to know some more status and next steps on family care homes. Additionally, the public has been requesting that as well. They've been requesting a meeting with staff to further discuss this topic. So I'm hoping that this can accomplish two things here tonight. Just to give you some background, in May of 2025, we received multiple residential complaints from family care home, group home properties. And these raised questions about how we monitor and enforce family care homes, group homes, sober living residences. And so we provided a few different ordinance updates, which I'll get into after I describe what a family care home is. But a family care home is, under North Carolina general statutes, a family care home is a residence providing room and board and personal care for 6 or fewer persons with disabilities. That does not include staff. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys are aware that's 6 or fewer. If there's more than 6, like 7 or more, then it'll constitute a group home, which is different than a family care home. So to clarify how to enforce these, we added some text amendments. In June 2023, the council approved a text amendment to clarify what a sober living residence is, and we clarified that that's also a family care home use. So anything that's a family care home or let me read the definition, which would be a transitional treatment center, recovery residence, sober living facility, or similar would fall under family care home. So if I use the words sober living residence or family care home, those are interchangeable. So just kind of discussing it with staff and residents, it gets a little bit confusing. But just know, group home is 7 or more, family care home is 6 or less. That's the big distinction. And then in July 28th, 2025, the council approved an amendment updating the definition of family care home to include a half-mile separation between the use of family care home, which is the state statutes gives us authority to do so. So we updated the definition even further to require half-mile separation between them. We also clarified family in our ordinance as well, and we put a ordinance called 2.21 compliance with the definition of family, which pretty much means the enforcement, we can enforce the definition of family, meaning 1 or more persons related by adoption, blood, or marriage, or up to 3 unrelated adults occupying a dwelling unit and living into a single household. Now, that doesn't specifically regulate family care homes, but if we have a lot of suspected family care homes that say they're only running rental units, this will give us another enforcement option. If they are just running it to, let's say, 6 or more unrelated people, then they would be in violation of this ordinance. So just going further, group homes require a special use permit, which is quasi-judicial. I don't know if the board has had, or the council has had a quasi-judicial hearing in a while, but just know that that would have to go through a quasi-judicial hearing. Family care homes would be regulated by staff internally. So I just wanted to also pull this up here. I know I'm going into great detail, kind of differentiating group home and family care homes, but there's been a lot of questions on, what these are. So just kind of going even further, family care homes are 6 or fewer, group homes are more than 6. Zoning status, so their family care homes are allowed by right, and under state statute, group homes require a special use permit. Family care homes are protected under the ADA and FHA, so Americans with Disability Acts and Fair Housing Acts, and then group homes are not protected because they require a special use permit. And then both need to be a half-mile separation apart. And I did want to go and show you this map. So this is a half-mile radius. So this is just a example property on Stallings Road in Community Park area on Stallings Road, excuse me. And then this is a half-mile radius. So it encompasses almost the entire center of Stallings. Encompasses almost the entire small area plan that we adopted earlier this year. So it's quite a large area. And goes almost all the way to very close to Stallings Park. So you can see how large a half-mile radius separation is. So additionally, we can make sure that there's a permit required for family care homes. and we can request specific information, but we cannot do inspections inside the house. We can't do any discriminatory enforcement. And then we can also only require special use permits are just not allowed for family care homes. So they don't have to go and get approval from council. Only group homes can. And then just kind of wanting to kind of go over to the room rental cases. So a lot of the residents that are suspected to be family care homes say they're just renting rooms to individuals and not providing any care. But that's why we did the family definition amendment, text amendment. So I just wanted to hit on that. Police and public safety overview, the police, I don't want to speak for them too much, but only 2 police calls were reported this year in the area. And then there was a 3rd call with a theft. So if you want to get into details of police, they're also here to answer any questions about that. But residents are still urged to continually update town staff on the status of these family care homes, because we have been out to these homes a lot, and there's been no action. We can't see any specific violations during the day. We can sit out in front of these homes all day and no one's going in and out of them. There's no perceived violations, so we can't do much of anything until we get evidence and follow that. So, but if we do see something, there's 4 things that the town staff can do to enforce family care homes and make sure they are regulated. We can provide an inquiry letter, ask them what they're doing. And, we usually give them a week or 2 weeks to respond back to town staff and say, please provide us a definition of what you're using the home for. Then if they do or don't respond, it still requires investigation, which could take many months just to kind of foresee investigation timeline. I mean, we just don't know what we may or may not see out there when we do look at these homes. If we do
Couldn't inspect homes, but if they receive a letter of inquiry, don't return it,
we would still.
Is that grounds for inspection, or is that, you said investigation and then inspection? Talk about the difference real quick.
Yeah, of course. So investigation, we can't go into their property. Sure. So the limits of what we have is observing it from the street. And maybe if a neighbor would let us onto their backyard property, we can then look at their backyard if we can't see it. That's the limit of what we can and can't do.
Okay, thank you.
So it just takes a lot of investigation time to ensure that they are violating our ordinance, because, we don't live in that neighborhood, so sometimes when we pass by these homes, they just look like normal residential homes, and we can't provide a notice of violation just on someone complaining that there is a family care home there or not. We do have to make sure we have the proper evidence to send a notice of violation for that. But once we do send a notice of violation, they would have 30 days to then comply with the ordinance. And after that, then comes remedies, which are civil penalties or making sure they get a use permit for 6 or fewer individuals on the property, as long as they're a half-mile radius away. So that's a lot of information, but do you have any questions for me on family care homes?
All right, thank you, Max. What's the next step right now? I don't see anything.
So the next step is ongoing enforcement. We've already provided some residents that we know that are operating a family care home the opportunity to acquire a use permit for family care homes. We still, to this date, do not have any use permits. So the next step, since we know certain properties are going through that have family care homes, we're going to issue notices of violations, which then give them 30 days to then comply. I hate to say this, but it would be a race to whoever gets the first use permit would be vested and grandfathered in. So they would be able to do that family care home, and then everything within half-mile radius of whoever submits first would be excluded from having a family care home. And we'd have to monitor that.
Because right now, currently, there is 0 permitted.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
And then all the ordinances are in place?
As far as I'm aware, yes. I think we have enough in our ordinance to enforce it
Okay,
from now on.
all right. Any other questions for for Max? Is this, I see this is just an update. You don't need any action from us.
Correct. We just wanted to make sure we provided an update, and we wanted to, for the residents as well.
Well, it's extremely confusing. I'll just add that. It's extremely confusing, but as I understand it, it's the maximum allowable distance that we're allowed to set a standard. You couldn't have more than one within a certain distance. We chose the maximum allowable.
Correct.
And this is an attempt to regulate the decline, real or perceived property values from homes that seem to be operating a family care, sober living unit. So I would just encourage you to spend some time with the residents of Smith Circle and other places just to make sure they understand what we can and can't do. This is a lot, and I didn't get all of it myself, and I'm pretty good at following this stuff, so.
And that's why it took us several months to investigate it. A lot of the residents were, we had a dialogue about how long it was taking, but like I said, it took a long time to investigate it, do all these text amendments to make sure we can do the proper updates to our ordinance by state statute.
We have a big crowd. I don't know who's here for that. I know you two ladies are. Okay, that's helpful to know that y'all are here for this. So grab him out in the hallway and or call him. I don't know if we can. I don't know if we have a forum for questions, but maybe it's something you could talk to afterwards. Grab Max outside, unless you want to do.
No,
questions.
just go ahead and grab him after. He's got a couple more things here, but just bear with us a little bit. Thank y'all. All right, thank you, Max.
Yes.
All right, next up is our number 5, conditional zoning 25.03.02, the Stallings Drive warehouse and commercial application. So Max, take it over.
Get my water. Sorry.
I'll open the public hearing. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, let me find it real quick. All right, so this is CZ 250302, which we named 824 Stallings Road Warehouse and Commercial and Retail. I'm here to present the memo. This is a conditional zoning that was submitted by JLN Sports and Games LLC for 824 Stallings Road, which is a 1.41 acre site across from Berry Plastics and East Coast Trucking on Gribble Road and Stallings Road, as you can see in the map here. It also has adjacent Tracy Circle, which is an Indian trail bordering it. The current zoning is industrial, and the applicant's seeking a conditional zoning industrial. And I'll get into the exact uses in just one second. I just wanted to make sure that you knew there's no small area plan for the site. The future land use plan identifies it as suburban commercial center, and there is a greenway master plan for the site as well. So, just getting into the uses, the applicant's proposing a 27,000 and some change square foot development that will include a self-storage facility, a shipping and packaging and retail store, office suites, and multi-tenant commercial spaces. So anything that would be allowed in industrial. And there are some exclusions, like vape stores later on in the conditions, so just kind of want to make sure you were aware of that. But there is a mixed-use composition to the site. And then instead of getting too into it, I want to bring up, they're asking, oh, I skipped too far. They're asking for modifications from the ordinance, specifically a relief from the requirement to install a sidewalk along Gribble Road. They want the use of faux stone and steel cladding on the building exteriors. They want permission for front-facing parking and dumpster placement as well. There also doesn't seem to be enough information for a traffic impact analysis here. I don't think they would be required to do that as well. And then they do have some traffic improvements that are going on by the site as well from Atrium. Atrium's putting in a left and right turn lane on Gribble Road along with a striped median on the frontage on Stallings Road with a right turn lane on the property. And then, so just in response to all that, after negotiations with the applicant, with Berry Plastics right there, the road improvement projects, we discussed them pushing the building to the rear portion of the site. Planning board did have some concerns about that because were concerned about the dumpster location. So in response, the applicant removed the event space from the conditional zoning. And they're requesting that if there's significant pressure for a sidewalk along Gribble Road, they will comply accordingly.
What does that mean? That means they will make the right-of-way available
Yes,
for the
correct.
town. They're not going to build a sidewalk there.
Yes, correct. They'll make it available for some future build for the sidewalk, but they're not going to build it. And before I get into the conditions, I just wanted to make sure I showed the site plan. If you look to the top of the page, that's Stallings Road. And then to the side portion, that's Gribble Road, they're going to have a parking lot on the frontage with gravel pavers, impervious gravel pavers. And then they're going to have the proposed retail and self-storage facility. The applicant's going to get into how the site's going to look. But they have some really detailed renderings of it as well to kind of make sure you're aware of what he's building. But I wanted to go over the uses, the conditions on the site. They wanted to request vesting from 2 to 5 years due to sewer capacity limitations. They wanted to permit a self-storage facility with a shipping and packaging retail store, and I'm sure he'll get into this as well. Requesting executive office suites, not currently listed in industrial. We did a use table text amendment in the meantime between this, so you may think they were allowed, but at the time of the application, they were not. Along with the permitting multi-use tenant buildings that were not permitted, so that's why I also had to do a conditional zoning. Requesting relief from the sidewalk along Gribble Road. Moving the parking to the frontage instead of the building itself, and that's because Berry Plastics it's a very loud sound coming from it, and if we were gonna have the greenway with those buildings frontage and then have the use of an active greenway space, it'd be very difficult for those tenants to have an active space for their customers due to the Berry Plastics sound and the road about to be widening there. And then there's, sorry, I'm skipping through them, I apologize, but they're requesting steel cladding in the back and the side building, the use of stone and brick materials, the dumpster to be located in the front, permit HVAC, air equipment on the side, Tracy side, and the Gribble Road side. And then staff's also requesting some additional proposed conditions. So a minimum of 18 inches of exposed brick or stone on the front facade and the base. We're requesting prohibited uses like vape shops, tobacco sales, CBD, hookah lounges, and similar. Some general permit questions. The development substantially conforming to what they have submitted. The commercial office component must be available to lease. They can't just only build a self-storage facility there. And then engineering has a condition. So if the development's unable to meet the stormwater standards, including both water quality and stormwater volume, using permittable, I think it's gonna be gravel pavers, asphalt's a typo, excuse me. A revised site plan would be required to be submitted to achieve those goals. That's just the condition that we placed. Do you have any questions for staff? We are recommending approval. It does meet our, the goals for, I'm missing a page. I apologize.
Right, Max, I got a question.
Yes.
The number 6 on there, requested conditions, installation of exterior identification signage for the building. What does that look like?
So they have directional signs. So there's like he has it in his, the applicant has it in his presentation. It's a pole sign with arrows pointing out to which suite, like what tenants in the commercial spaces. It's hard to explain. I want him to be able to show you a rendering picture.
Yeah,
of it.
rendering? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. We'll revisit that in a minute.
Okay. And would you like the applicant to come up here and
Yeah, if
present?
you're ready.
He has a really detailed presentation as well, so I want to make sure.
Question, Stephen?
Well, if you just scroll right there, so I guess that's my one question is the greenway is going to be coming through there. I guess is there going to be a concrete entryway that not only goes out to the street, but also covers the greenway? Because here it shows that it would be included in the gravel pavers.
According to what he submitted, I believe it's going to be gravel paver, but I'll let him answer that for you.
Okay, all right.
All right, thank you, Max.
Yes, thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. So nice to meet you. I'm Joe Nathan. I'm the owner of the property. So as Max walked you through, right, so we're looking to build a retail space with a self-storage facility in the rear. And I had a chance to kind of walk this through some of you. So, and we got some good feedback in this process, and we were able to incorporate the feedback in the process as well. So I think you had a specific question on the greenway, right? I'll probably answer that and then go to the overall plan. So on the greenway, so we had planned to use a gravel paver between the sides of in the driveway. So that's what we had initially. That's our current plan.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I mean, I do have some concerns about that there, because you would go from sidewalk to this gravel paver to the sidewalk that's in front of the building. So it's kind of a discontinuous kind of approach to it. So that, I guess, just a concern when I flushed this around to some folks that I had talked to is that, I mean, in town, we've got several places where the sidewalk has been broken and just regular gravel has been put in there. And people have expressed concerns about people walking and any type of mobility devices or whatnot using the greenway. So that would just be something that I'm a little concerned about, not having a contiguous concrete across there, okay?
Okay, thank you, sir. Yeah, we'll certainly look into it and make sure that we can do something about it.
Okay.
So I'll just skip ahead. So as Max had walked you through, right? So it's a 1.41 acres, and the property is on Stallings Road and intersection of Stallings and Gribble Road. And so just to kind of walk you through some details here, right? So we have proposed about 46 I'll start from the top. 46 parking spaces, and the parking lot will be in the front, primarily because, as Max mentioned, there is considerable noise coming from Berry Global. So we want to make sure that how do we kind of optimize or just make sure that the tenants have a pleasant experience. So we want to have the parking space before getting to the stores or retail front or office spaces. And we will plan to have a concrete a greenway. So that kind of adheres to the master greenway plan that you have. And the front of the property will be the proposed retail space. So we have roughly about 9,000 square feet of retail space, and then the self-storage facility will be in the rear of the property, but the entrance will be on the left side of the property. That's where you have a dotted line there. That's where we plan to have the entrance to the self-storage facility. So that way, and this is again based on feedback we received from the council, some of the council members we met. So that way we can shield the traffic that's coming to in case people are bringing U-Hauls to kind of load stuff, it can go on one side, so the other side will be mostly focused on office spaces, and we're looking to also bring in some multi-tenant facilities like, say, after-school facility like taekwondo classes and so on. So it'll be for that usage. And the driveway is going to be as we plan to have the driveway on Stallings Road coming in. And we also plan to have a second driveway on the side with Gribble Road. And that's based on feedback we received from the fire marshal. So that way, if any fire apparatus is coming into the property, it can kind of come in and exit without having to take a U-turn or without having to having challenges. The dumpster location, I had proposing to use it in the front of the property because it's just easy for the dump truck to come in, take it, empty the dumpster and go out. But we will make sure that the dumpster facility is shielded with some covering, so that way it's not exposed as a dumpster. It has I mean, we have to make sure that the property looks good as well for ourselves. So just kind of making sure. And I think one question is, we also want to use a permeable gravel paver as a parking lot surface. So that'll allow for, that'll basically be in lieu of a detention pond. It allows for water to be stored. The gravel basically it stores water. The voids in the gravel helps store water, so we'll use it as a detention pond as well. So that's our current proposed stormwater control measure, and we are working with the engineering firm to make sure that meets the required standards that the town has, and also what the Union County is prescribing, both quality as well as the water storage. I'll pause for a moment. Any questions, or if not, we can go into the details behind all the conditional zoning that we requested, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Max, the stormwater part, the retention pond, I mean, you say you approved it, you're obviously comfortable with that?
I would probably defer to engineering to answer that question about stormwater.
Oh, well, yes, Kevin, I didn't see you sitting back there, sorry.
Yeah, no, those permeable gravel pavers, they, from the water quality standpoint, yeah, they're sufficient and they're pretty neat, actually. The big thing is we have volumetric requirements, peak flows that have to be met, i.e., for certain storms, the pre-development stormwater runoff cannot be, the post-development stormwater runoff cannot be more than pre-development. So after development, there cannot be more CFS flowing off-site than beforehand. So things like that we'll look at. I think that's the only thing that I see that would need to be met, just those volumetric requirements and retention. So be more than happy to look at that further as construction documents go, but.
All right, so post-construction, we would measure the volume?
Yes.
And if it exceeded the limits, it would need to be remediated somehow?
So the way the post-construction runoff works is essentially, yes. On-site, the water has to be detained enough to prevent more runoff from the pre-development scenario. Does that make sense? I know, okay.
But, yes, but I thought I heard someone say earlier that should they fail that test, if the owner's gravel paver system, which I think is pretty interesting, I agree with you, Kevin, it looks pretty interesting, works and retains all the water, no problem. If it doesn't meet the standard, I'm hearing that the building is built. And then they have to somehow figure out, and then I also heard someone say, Max say, that if it doesn't, they'll have to build a retaining pond. I'm confused about the.
Sure, yeah, and the rationale behind that comment is there is some trepidation with those gravel pavers there. I have concerns off the bat that there's not gonna be enough retention underneath those pavers to hold the water sufficiently to meet our standards for peak runoff control and the volumetric control. So I do think there will be some detention needed, whether that's above ground or underground.
And this is a mathematical equation that determines, right?
Yes, yep, stormwater runoff calculations, yes, sir, yep.
So the petitioner's engineer is studying this as well, so he will submit to you what the volume captured is, and you'll compare it against the standard.
I'll look at it.
You'll agree with it or not agree with, and you guys will debate that.
Yes, sir.
But this all happens before the building is built.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Got it.
Yep.
Any other questions for Kevin on that? Sir?
Yeah, thank you.
If I may, and not to speed you up, because I'd love for you to go through, I like this, and I'll tell you why. I was in the subcommittee meeting, Steve and I were. What you have here is a site that's compromised in a lot of ways. One, it's an industrial zone site, it's across from Berry Plastics. Now, you can come back up, we're not done with you yet. I'm gonna be very brief. I'm just trying to kind of set the tone, because this is an interesting, the contrast is remarkable. Hendrick comes in with gazillions of dollars and 500 cars in a garage. I get it, love it, and it's transformational. Center City, sort of town center stuff, best happens not that way, but this way, where small entrepreneurs buy little pieces of land and do neat stuff. This is a self-storage with some retail on the front, so it's pretty genius from a cash flow perspective, I would imagine. And then this new technology pavers, I really like a lot and would love to just experiment with it in our town. The fact that this is at the edge of, near the railroad tracks, near Gribble, in an industrial area, but it's going to introduce retail, which sort of softens the move from industrial into sort of what we envision as our town center park area. I'm really excited about it. I get your point, Steve, about a sidewalk coming down that's our greenway that's really nice, and then you're disrupted by the pavers. But to me, I'm not sure that's much different than the difference you get from a regular driveway. So there's more discussion we had about that. But and he's asking for some conditions that I think are reasonable. But I just wanted to kind of put that out there. Please, I probably spoke too soon, but I didn't want it to go too much further without giving you credit for what you're doing here.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And just to answer the question on we did some preliminary mathematical with engineering team around the level of depth we need to have the gravel. So to meet the entire stormwater retention, we need to go about 3 feet. We need to excavate 3 feet and fill it with gravel. So the void in that will provide all the pre-existing site. It will meet the pre-existing site requirements. We do have to, however, do the grading to make sure all the water kind of flows from the back of the property all the way to the front. So that'll kind of get all the water in it and store the water there. So, and yeah, we'll work with the engineering team to make sure that it meets all the town's requirements. Okay. So again, these are some pictures of some of the 3D rendering of the building. So just one minor thing here. We got some feedback from some of the meetings. We haven't updated the rendering for the last couple of months. So the driveway will be a few feet, or probably we'll have 4 parking spaces between the driveway and the side on Tracy Circle. That's the only change, but otherwise, this is how we're looking at. And for the building signage, right, that was a question. So it'll be just like a signage with just close to the entrance of the property, which has the listing of the businesses that exist. And that's something which we're requesting a conditional zoning to allow the signage, and also allowing signage on each of the storefronts. So if it's, let's say, a taekwondo, we just want to have like a signage on top on the building.
So the one that's not attached to the building, would it just be a wooden or a non-illuminated sign?
We haven't kind of described that, yes, but as of now, we're thinking of it as aluminum or something like that with lighting, so that way it's visible in the dark as well.
Not a lot of off-site lighting signage in that area. So it's, all of it's attached to the building.
You see the rendering there?
Yeah, I see the rendering.
Oh, did you? Okay, I couldn't quite see it earlier, but.
Yeah.
Like to make sure it's not illuminated and just have like spotlighting instead?
Yeah, that would, I'm looking at the sign here. I don't think that's illuminated, the one
Yeah,
there's.
right now it's not illuminated, but we would, we're happy to follow the town's guidance on that.
Spotlight signing would be good, because
Okay.
when it gets dark at, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and businesses might be open.
Absolutely, we can have spotlights instead of illuminated signs, yeah, absolutely, sir.
All right, any other questions for the applicant?
Again, I'm a little cautious again with the intake not being paved or concrete. And then is the trash enclosures part of the conditions? It is? Okay.
Sorry, what is it, sir?
Maybe I missed it. Sorry.
So let me see, my pages are all messed up because of the
Question.
Yeah, it's number 11.
It is, yeah, okay. Okay, so it's,
Dumpster will be screened with a masonry enclosure that complements the building design.
okay, I missed that before. Thanks, man.
On slide 20, you have numbers on your slides or not?
Yes, I do, I'm just.
Yeah, just back to Steve's question about the driveway and the greenway. That image probably isn't correct. This shows a curb almost that you step down from the greenway onto your driveway. Looks like a curb, but it's flush, right? if, you can't zoom in like I can on my iPad, but your sidewalk, your greenway has a 4-inch curb that you step down onto your driveway. I'm assuming for ADA reasons, it would not be that way. It would be a smooth.
Yes, sir. That's right. Yep. Yeah, the driveway will be smooth, will be flush. Yes, correct.
I could go on my bicycle or wheelchair.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, it can't like jump over. Yeah.
That'd
We'll
be
make sure it's seamless. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions? Yeah, Graham?
So looking at the design, everything would come in through
Yes, everything will be in the front. So
for all the stores and for the
yes, that's correct.
The self-storage entrance will be on
I can just go to this particular slide.
wider parking spaces or something.
U-Haul trucks.
Wider, so I'm just.
We had currently thought about having 9 by 20 parking spaces, which is generous compared to typical parking spaces, the size. U-Hauls typically fit into it at 9 feet. But that's a good question. If there's a need, we can try to make it a little wider, so there's probably one wider space. We can do that.
All right, any other questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
All right, anybody in the public have any comments about this project? All right, I don't see anybody, so I'll close the public hearing. And then what's the pleasure of the council?
Mayor, I'll make a motion. I know we're short on members, so it didn't count votes and never do, but I hope we have, or else we'll defer this, but I'll make a motion to approve CZ 25.03.02, 824 Stallings Road Warehouse and Commercial.
With all the conditions? Okay, we got a motion by Brad.
I'll second.
Second by Stephen. So all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right.
Thank you.
Then, statement of consistency and reasonableness is back up front here. Where is it here? I could read it again. So, can I get a
Yeah, I approve this. Yeah.
approval of the statement of consistency and reasonableness for CZ 25.03.02?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Richardson, second by Mr. Hall. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right. Thank y'all. What's the timeline? I didn't ask that.
Oh, yeah.
To get all the planning completed this year and building construction documents completed early part of next year and start mid of next year.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up is DOT vote.
Yeah.
I apologize for having to sit here this long, but I was trying to get a lot of people through here.
Yeah, we have Lee Ainsworth and Stuart Basham with NCDOT to just kind of give us some updates and answer some questions associated with some NCDOT projects in and around Stallings. So,
All right.
thank you.
Good evening. How are y'all doing?
Good, appreciate y'all coming out.
No problem. As Kevin said, I'm Lee Ainsworth. I'm your Division Project Development Engineer for Division 10 with the North Carolina DOT. And he asked us to come out and give a quick update on several projects in the area. So I have three main areas of focus: projects that we have in development, projects that are in construction, and we have, unfortunately, one project that's not funded currently. U-4714 AC Old Monroe Road. This is our project to widen Old Monroe to 4 lanes from basically 485. And this section is to Morningside Meadow Lane. Is that right? I think I get twisted every time I try to do it. Currently, we're relocating utilities, and our hope is to go to construction towards the end of next summer. And for an estimated cost of $45.2 million.
So that is from 485 to Morningside Meadowlands. Okay. So I guess we had heard that like these projects had been delayed. So, okay, that's good to hear.
There was something that came out that was, in our words, delayed because Indian Trail was trying to coordinate something. Is any of that ringing a bell? Indian Trail?
So we had a lot of projects got delayed, and then we had an opportunity to bring certain projects back in line with the original plan.
Okay.
And I want to say this was one of them. And I'm getting to the next part, the U-4714B, which was the rest of the project down past Wesley Chapel Stouts Road. We reprioritized our STIP, and in that, we're planning out 5 years' worth of construction dollars. And with that, in the funding tier this one's in, this is in our division needs tier. And we programmed out, we pushed some projects back. We were able to bring the AC portion back into line, and the B portion got pushed out again. But with their prioritization and some of our realistic target dates when we're actually gonna let these projects, there was a shift, and it created a little bit of extra money within the fiscal year for construction in '27. So we took that opportunity to break up the B section and create the BA and BB section. And our intent is to take the BA section, which is from Morningside Meadow Lane to just east of Indian Trail Road, and let it and award it a contract at the same time we do the AC section. It won't be one project, it'll be two separate projects, but they'll be going on at the same time.
Late next summer contract award.
Yeah, that'll probably be when our date of availability to begin work will be. And then the BB section will pick up the remainder, and hopefully we're looking at construction in winter, spring of '28, maybe summer.
Is that the end of the project, by the way? Does it go further?
That's the end of what's funded. I think there's some planning out there to go further. I think we even have a project to go down to Rocky River Road, but it's not a funded project right now.
So I hate to ask, but on the little strips of blue over here, I take it that BA is the light blue.
Correct. The light blue is the BA section and the dark blue is the BB section.
The dark blue is the BB section.
Yeah, that's the section that'll be from Indian Trail Road, basically through Wesley Chapel Stouts.
Okay, so I'm sorry. So the medium blue is the A piece.
AC section, correct.
Okay, and then my apologies.
No, that's okay. I left it on there so you could see where the AC starts and the BA picks up and then the BB picks up.
So for the most part, we're the AC portion.
Correct. Yeah, for town Stallings.
Okay. Wow. Okay. All right.
All right. Another one of the projects was U-6170 Lawyers Road widening. Unfortunately, this project was selected just for PE only. That's the preliminary design. We've completed our capacity analysis, and we've got our forecast analysis. So where we're at now, we'll start looking at different alternatives to what types of corridors will meet the level of service we're trying to achieve as we move forward. So,
Can we, did you say you've completed the design work?
no, we're only funded to do preliminary design. So we've completed the capacity analysis, the traffic analysis, and the forecast analysis. So we'll go from this point forward, and then we'll start looking at alternatives that meet that level of service that we're trying to achieve.
So no maps, right?
Nothing substantial, no.
Yeah, because that's a tight, at the light at Stevens
Right.
Mill, that's a tight.
It's going to get interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, and Mr. Crenshaw is here, but he's not here anymore, who lives in that area, and he's on the planning board, so.
So with this one, like I said, it's only funded for preliminary engineering. What that means is we go to a certain part or the process where we go take our design to. We will not go to right-of-way or construction because they're not funded yet. And what'll happen is we'll get a new estimate based off of the design and a selected alternative, preferably by the time we go to the new prioritization cycle. I say the new one, the next one, P 9.0. And we'll have a good estimate and we'll be able to compete and get it funded for right-of-way and construction. More questions on that one?
What would be the timeline?
Okay, so P9, so we're just about to start P8 and gets awarded in 27 when P8 comes out, so P9 will be 29. Before we know if it's selected, and then you're looking at probably 6 more years, 5 to 6 more years to finish design, acquire right-of-way, buy utilities, and then do the work.
You had to ask.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
I will say every new project that's selected was for PE only, so they're all gonna be this way for the most part.
So you don't have to worry about it at all?
Unless by some reason it recompetes at the same value and gets selected in P8. I don't know how that'll go.
Somebody said at one time that like if the traffic got so that it started to back up on the interstate, that might change the priorities.
It might. I mean, what we're talking about, all these Ps are their phases and CRTPO. I sit on that board. There's prioritization every year that staff does. Kevin's our TCC member. So there's all kinds of scoring about the ranking of these projects. So you might say that if traffic backs up the interstate, that's an emergency, but it would probably elevate it in priority on the scoring that happens. And I don't even understand it. It's a really complex process, but it's fair, which is you got to give us fair. It's multi-jurisdictional. It's 3 or 4 counties working together to spend limited amount of dollars. So it takes forever, though. That's
Got to be done.
got to be done.
There's a lot of methodology that goes into selecting these projects. And I will say, if it were to back up on the 485 and start creating a crash pattern, we have other funds that can address issues like that. And so we could probably bring that to fruition. If it were to be selected for an improvement, we could bring that to fruition a little sooner.
How about on the other side of 485 going into Mid Hill, Lawyers Road? Y'all
I don't think we have anything, we don't have anything currently funded doing any work on that side, on lawyers. And I don't know if they're going to submit it for the CRTPO for DA fund, what DA funds, Division needs tier funds during their call, so.
That's still Division 10.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So that takes care of all the projects that we have in development. And a pretty famous one around here. This one is finally under construction, right? 5112 Potter Road intersection. We awarded that contract last April. And right now the contract completion date is in November of '26. But it seems like we're at least on track to make that date. So we can maybe keep our fingers crossed and come in a little early for our substantial completion.
So help me understand that. My understanding is that when that contract was written, it was an 18-month delivery contract. It started in June of last year, and I mean, this December would be 18 months. Did something, I mean, that's another year beyond what we were told was the end date. So help me understand did we not get the correct information there, or?
I don't know what y'all were told. I think this one had delay of availability. Utility construction work. So we award the contract and then we give them a floating day of availability in a sense, because of lead times on sewer line, sewer pipes, water pipes.
Yeah, it started, it's
Ordered in June or April, but they start right away?
It started on Father's Day, the week of Father's Day, yeah, last year, so.
Looking at it now, it feels like it's moving pretty quickly. So
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like you, it felt, I was surprised when I saw that too.
Yeah.
Another year in a couple months surprised me.
Well, I can look into it.
Yeah, I mean,
Get a
I
definitive
could,
answer for you.
I don't have any recording, but I could swear that the guy that Alex and I were on the phone with told us that they were looking to be complete at the end of September, early October this year. So this is interesting.
Okay.
Now, that's probably been 3 or 4 months ago. So, but maybe there was a misunderstanding on the call.
Could be something on my end too.
Well, I mean,
The curb and gutter are complete. It really looks more finished than a year away. So
yeah.
let us know. It'd be-
No, I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's the contract completion date. So, I mean, they can always finish up before that. Then you have your substantial completion. Then you have to do your seeding period.
Okay, yeah.
It may, I suspect it'll feel complete going through it before final completion date. That's what I suspect. Typically with construction, I'm talking about road construction, I immediately
You're a
regret it,
lawyer.
but typically with construction projects, you have a substantial completion, which means it's mostly done. There are a lot of smaller stuff you have to complete around.
Okay, okay. I mean, maybe that's,
But I did, Stephen, I looked at our update to the town, and on-site substantial work was estimated to begin. Project time frame was 18 to 24 months. A little back, so Lee, I appreciate you checking us out.
Yeah, we'll check it out and I'll certainly get back through Kevin, let you know where we're actually at. It sounds like I don't have the right information.
You ever, what do you think about a ribbon cut? Is that too?
I know just the guy to show up.
Yeah, I've already nominated Stephen to do that.
we'll
I mean,
see, we'll see.
This one's what, 12, 13 years? Yeah.
2011, I think, is when the contract with DOT initially.
What's that?
Yeah, I think the town got awarded the project early, P 3.0 maybe. He doesn't remember either. It was a while. Either way, we're almost there.
Yeah, well, let's not start counting eggs or hens or chickens and things.
Right.
Let's,
Let's do this. This is interesting.
So 5808 Chestnut Lane Extension, you know, there's 3 sections of it. One's already built. The department's taking on one project between Gribble and Indian Trail Road, and the town of Indian Trail's doing the remainder. It goes out to Old Monroe. It's currently under contract. The contract completion date is February 27. So we're actively working towards hopefully and have that complete, substantially complete prior to going into that winter.
That's your part. But did I hear you say Indian Trails?
Indian Trail has a section.
Connection to.
They make the connect, they have the section from Gribble
Gribble to Monroe.
Old Monroe. We have the section from Gribble to where it ties into the existing, and has the railroad crossing.
Town funded and let project? They're doing that or paying y'all
Yeah,
to do
theirs.
it? Huh?
Their project is, they're funding their project, correct? Yes. Yeah, their project's funded by the town.
But are y'all doing it? Like,
Our section's funded through,
you are
How's our section funded?
well underway.
Ours was, STIP funds. The town of Indian Trail paid for theirs with, their own funds.
Yeah, but are they paying, are y'all in charge of that road?
are
You
y'all
right?
managing it?
No, sir.
You're not managing the construction of that? Oh,
not their
God.
section.
No.
Really?
Okay. Not oh no, but that's surprising. Because that section you're doing does nobody any good. No offense. It's the connection to Monroe. That makes it complete,
I
right?
understand.
No offense. You will be really important, but the traffic is really from Monroe Road to Gribble, I think. I mean, so when will they start their project, you know?
I know.
I don't know.
Oh, you know. That's right, town attorney.
We have all of the right-of-way acquisitions, so I know that part is done. We filed all our condemnations or negotiated all of it.
Okay.
My understanding, though, everything was sent to NCDOT for approval. Maybe I'm talking about a different section.
We approve, I mean, if it's fully funded by them, we don't approve anything.
I don't know.
Now, if we're taking it for maintenance
and
at the
state
end,
money.
they'll send it to us to review it as we move through the process, if we're maintaining it. And I can't remember, we've gone back and forth several times, and I'm not in road maintenance anymore, so I don't know where that responsibility is gonna fall.
So the big piece that's under construction right now, that's not the Chestnut extension?
That's what he's talking about. It is.
Yeah, that's our section of it, that we're
Oh,
from
that-
Gribble back over to
Yeah.
where it ties into the existing.
Where it ties back into Monroe Road?
No.
No.
Ties back into Chestnut, the town hall section over there, what that's called,
Okay, so
the athletics. center
Matthews Indian Trail Road, maybe?
And all that.
Indian Trail, I mean, it's all, I mean, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but like, all the trees have already been taken down in Indian Trail, right?
You might be thinking of McKee Road extension, are you?
No, down here. I mean, you can see they've come in there and they've whacked a whole bunch of trees.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Okay.
I'm,
Yeah, will that alignment align to the existing Chestnut Lane?
We're going to recreate the fourth leg into that roundabout. And that one's not right. Gribbles Road, that one's a regular, always.
So
stop
Chestnut
control.
Lane existing at Monroe Road will be joined by Indian Trails connection at roughly the existing Chestnut Lane. Maybe some alignment, because there's a Williams Rescue Road that kind of comes right down there. Never mind, we'll talk about it later.
yeah, if it's where the trees are cut down, it doesn't align.
Odd, okay.
And I have to believe that they would not be that many trees cut down for that type of length for another road over there.
All right, Melanie will check since she.
I can't remember, is there an offset?
Yeah, I'll give you a report at the next meeting.
Yep.
The reason that it's offset, initially when we first started design work on that project years ago, the intent was to align them, have them connect opposite one another. Because of the fact that the Monroe Road corridor will be converted to an RCI type corridor, those roads no longer have to align. So that's the reason. There is an offset there, and it, as you note, it does align closer to Williams Rescue.
Yeah.
And that's the reason for that.
Okay, so you won't be crossing it. You have to right turn and make a
You'll have to
loop.
go
and
down and
come.
make a U-turn.
Okay,
Yeah.
that
Yes,
makes
sir.
perfect sense, Stuart. Thank you. Less important. Keep going.
Okay. I-5507, I-45 express lanes. That's another gem. You know, we've been in construction now for 7 years almost.
7 years?
We were awarded back in
How are you
October
counting that?
18. So, the goal is right now to be substantially complete at the end of this year with everything open to traffic. From what I can tell, it seems like we're on pace to make that, but.
And does that include the extra interchange, or is that a different project?
It should be everything.
Okay, so that's the, I don't know the name of that road.
Interchange at Weddington? The
Is
new
it-
interchange off
Yeah,
45?
yeah.
Yeah, Weddington Road, Weddington Matthews Road, Weddington Road.
Weddington Matthews Road.
That will, yeah, I don't know when that's complete, but
Who is the?
that's right. It'll be later this
Who
year.
is the state liaison for the highway? I thought I had him in his phone. I call him once a month, and I can't remember his name now.
You mean like, he used to be like Brett Knight,
No, whatever they call it, the,
division engineer,
no.
the
Resident engineer over the construction?
He's
the
a
political thing.
He's a political.
Tony Lathrop,
No,
he's the new chair, and he's local.
well.
Or
then-
Stephen Rosenberg, he's the other.
Well, I call him once a month because I-485 from Independence Boulevard to Pineville is the most dangerous road I travel. I travel all over the United States, all over. Poor lighting, there's no, when it rains, it's just a crapshoot. I mean, there's no reflectors on part of it. You just follow the person in front. It's like a blinding snowstorm.
Understand.
And I'm not over exaggerating. I'm sure y'all drive it at night, some yourself. I don't know where you live, but it's the most dangerous road I travel in all of North America. There's a wreck there, and then this is what he told me. He says, well, people would slow down, maybe they wouldn't wreck. I said, well, that's about the stupidest comment I've ever heard of. You know, people, it's a 70-mile-an-hour zone.
Right.
And so, you know, there's got to be some lighting out there soon. You just said it's going to be a year away.
Be the end of this year.
Temporary lighting, something. You just got to improve the safety out there. You know, and DOT always tells us, I know this is a federal highway, but they always tell us safety is the number one thing, but it's not on this road. It's just a crapshoot out there, so.
I feel pretty certain that we'll have the interchanges are lighted, between the interchanges.
But it needs lighting now. I mean, if it rains, like.
Right, I understand.
I don't know how many wrecks have happened over the last week of raining out there, but I guarantee it's a lot, because it's just dangerous. The other thing I told them about is, medians, they're only 2 to 3 feet high. And I asked them about, in DC, they have the reflectors on top of the medians, So when somebody, so it reflects the lights, why don't we have those? Because night, you know, the lights are shining in your eyes all the time as you're passing. It's just shining. Somebody has on their bright lights, it's just blinding. And then so couple that with no lighting from up top and no lines, it's just dangerous.
Understand.
That's my 2 cents worth.
I agree.
I'll be glad to check it out, see
Thank you.
where we're at, because, I mean, when we're doing these multiple lane shifts, it's difficult to
Yeah.
keep it up, but
My wife's got one of those cars that tries to tell you to get aligned. Driving that road over there, that car is having like a mental breakdown. It's like, go over here, go over here.
I understand.
You got Chestnut, McKee Road extension on there?
I think that's my next one. Yeah. So it's been recently awarded back in October. We have a contract completion date of March of '27. It's currently under construction.
At Monroe Road, where it intersects, it'll go straight across to Campus Ridge Road, right? No.
I can't remember, Stuart, do you remember? Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Does Steady Eddie's, is it still gonna be in business there? You
I don't even know
that
what
bar?
Steady Eddie's is.
You know that bar? That can, will it be there? It's hard to
Yeah.
tell with where the trees have been moved and the right of ways taken. Will Steady Eddie still be on the corner there?
It will be unaffected. It will be able to remain there.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we aren't going to, we'll come up adjacent to it.
Yeah, yeah.
But we won't actually impact that
I wondered
business.
about that. Okay, perfect. Popular place.
All right. Lastly, we have U 4913B, their other section of Out of Wild Road that's currently unfunded at the moment. I know there were some questions about it, but we know we're working on the A section right now, but the B section is totally unfunded.
That's the Diamond Interchange.
That's the widening of Idlewild.
That's the widening of Idlewild from 45 south.
We almost said no to that and had Cart Post switch the funding for this up to that Lawyers Road preliminary
Right.
engineering study.
Right.
And that's it for me. There's my contact
I
information.
found a guy's name, Warren Cooksey.
Warren, used to work for the Turnpike.
Yeah, the Turnpike Authority.
He's not working for the Turnpike anymore.
Okay, so I'll quit calling him.
Well, if he answers, let me know.
Now, what about just general maintenance on the roads? You know, I call Brett Knipe all the time.
Okay. Well,
It's no longer there.
yep, he's moved on to be the Western Deputy. Our former DME's the new division engineer, and our new division maintenance engineer is Michael Mariano.
Can you send his contact information to Alex or Max?
Yeah,
or
I'd be glad to. Do y'all have our county maintenance engineer and Amelia's contact? They would be your first line to talk to. Quinlan McCracken, he's our county maintenance engineer.
Because the intersection of Stevens Mill and Idlewild, that intersection gets beat to hell by all the truck traffic coming down there. I mean, it's probably the most traveled road one of the most traveled roads in Union County because of all the traffic going to Indian Trail and Lake Park and these secret shortcuts, people going to Monroe on it. But that intersection. And then my last pet peeve is changing the speed limit on those two roads, Idlewild and Lawyers Road. It's downhill from 485 to Stallings. And truck traffic on there is not going 45. They're going much faster than that. So it's just a dangerous road.
That's on Lawyers Road where?
Lawyers and Idlewild. I proposed, years ago when Scott Cole was still here and got turned down that it didn't warrant but the amount of traffic there, safety, cringe every time I cross.
Right.
I cross it all the time.
Well, I will say the division doesn't make that decision on whether or
You're in
not we can
building road, I
adjust.
understand.
We can make recommendations, but it actually goes to the state traffic engineer's office.
Well, while I had you, I'm going to
It's okay.
complain.
I usually get everything, so.
All right, anything else? Any questions? All right, thank y'all for coming out. Thank y'all for
Everybody.
patience for being.
I'll take care. If anything
delayed,
comes
yeah.
up, by all means, reach out to me, and I'll do my best to get you in the right place.
All righty. All right, Veterans Day event. Is that where we're at? Let's see.
That's, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, 7, 8, yeah. Well, Kevin jumped up there. I thought maybe.
Oh, I'm just
Gosh, you hear us.
getting it ready.
Appreciate your work on this, Eunice.
Oh, of course, I appreciate the idea. The community committee was really thrilled to hear that this was even a possibility. So you definitely have their support in that realm. So council, as y'all know, at the last meeting, Mayor Dunn brought up the possibility of having a veterans breakfast here in Stallings. So what we've done with the Parks and Rec crew is kind of looked at our staff availability that time of year. I know it's kind of right after 50 Fest for us, so it's our slower season, but we see no problem with adding this kind of into our event schedule. So I kind of wanted to just give you guys a proposal and then have y'all decide on how we choose to fund this. So I'll give you a brief little elevator pitch about it. This is kind of sky view of what it would look like, and we can dive in as deep as y'all want or kind of keep it rocking and rolling. What we think would be the best for this situation is to have it on actual Veterans Day. That is November 11th on a Tuesday. We're proposing having it here in the Government Center. We've done similar things like this with staff, similar like our Christmas, we do like a staff luncheon. So we think we definitely have the space for it. We're gonna put a cap at 75 veterans. The goal is to get 75 veterans, but I hope that we could reach that number. And then it will be available to Stallings residents only. We're not gonna allow anyone non-resident to come. It will be free, which is gonna be wonderful for the community. That's the goal. They will be able to register through phone or through an online platform. We have a service where they are made to type in their address, so it automatically lets them know if they're a resident or not. And we're thinking between the hours of 8 and 10 a.m. We reached out to Mint Hill. They do a similar kind of breakfast, but they open it up to a bigger majority of people. They do the same timeline. They said it's been relatively successful for them.
They do it on Veterans Day as well?
No, sir, they do not do it on Veterans Day. They do it the weekend before Veterans Day. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're currently exploring two options for funding. Either one, hopefully we can get some sponsorships to maybe donate breakfast. That would be, the top tier. If y'all know anybody, let me know. Second option, we could come back to council at the next meeting and kind of provide a cost estimate for what that looks like. It'll probably be a higher cost because we would guess that we would have all 75 people. That would be the hope. However, we might land somewhere lower than that. But would love to kind of hear y'all's feedback about this event, your thoughts, and request y'all's approval to move forward. And with that, I ask that you just kind of let me know how you prefer it to be funded. If we don't get a sponsor, I just want to make sure y'all are comfortable with us coming back with a number to still pay for it to have it moving forward.
Well, I don't think we'll get 75, but how much do you need?
I would say I can't imagine this being more than, I would say max would be like $5,000 for food, and that is max. And we have everything else in-house, tables, chairs, tablecloths, decor. We could do everything else internally. It's just gonna be food.
Right.
Will be the big cost.
And do we have a relationship with the Indian Trail, Chick-fil-A? Is that where you go to?
I mean, no, yes, we do get food from there, yes.
They probably wouldn't know us,
Yeah.
Well, I know the owner or the operator. Do you know Dean Sambo, Brad?
No.
Yeah, so.
They did, we do have a relationship with them at the Parks Department. Yep, they actually did sponsor Meals for Stallings Fest for the volunteers, so that could definitely be a contact we could reach out to. I guess that's where, if you guys had an idea of what kind of breakfast, but if y'all are comfortable with the Chick-fil-A style, that's.
Cook it.
Other towns do that too. I've seen it all.
Well, let's, between now and the first meeting in September.
Yeah.
Let's contact, Atrium, CEM, and Chick-fil-A.
Okay,
I'll do CEM and Atrium.
that's perfect.
Let you do Chick-fil-A and tell Dean Sambo's the operator. That's who I know.
I'll tell him. The mayor told me to tell you.
Yeah,
Okay,
free
perfect.
chicken biscuits.
Wonderful.
Another thought, not to throw a wrench, because I love this and I'm fine.
Yeah, no.
But I often think about a local, like Fat Daddy's has a breakfast menu.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they would give half the restaurant that morning, rent it out. Local restaurant, they've got the space already, they got the cook. But
I'll let you handle that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll definitely, that's actually a great idea, especially if y'all don't know this unknown source of how many veterans might be in Stallings. I think it's kind of gonna be this tester, maybe, of what we're trying to find.
Right, it could be like a drop-in, 7 to
Yeah,
less formal, but it could be cool too.
Yeah, I mean,
I gotta start somewhere, because Mint Hill and Indian Trail have been doing this for a long time.
and they've had a great response. They've been, the lady over there, I can't remember her name on the top of my head, but she's been wonderful to deal with to kind of help bounce some ideas. But I'll definitely reach out to Fat Daddies. Do you have a contact for them?
I don't know.
Okay.
Don't feel obligated, just.
Well, I love the idea of keeping it in town. That's pretty cool. So, and I think it might be a little more, I don't know, they might have some clientele there that we could kind of pull from, so. Yeah, I think that's a wonderful idea.
I think you've got like, isn't there 3 older guys, veterans, in the Parks and Rec community meeting?
So Henry Hicks, that used to work with us, he's a veteran. Chuck, I don't believe so. However, there is one that's on the community committee as well. So I think, and I know that Chief has a few. I think Chief has 5 veterans on staff. So that's 7. So that's pretty good.
10%.
Yeah, so that's great.
But that was gonna be, if we don't think we're gonna get to 75, my thought is opening it up to allowing spouses. Here, if your husband or wife
Yeah.
with them and you're impacted, like throwing it out there. Allow spouses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
And your son
Yeah,
experiencing that.
he's moved 8 times, and so. it's his
Wow.
wife.
Yeah, I love it. If y'all are open to that, I'll add that, reach out to Fat Daddies, and then I'll kind of touch base too with Chick-fil-A to kind of get some options, and I'll come back next month with maybe something a little more set in stone.
And I'll have contact Atrium and CEM by the end.
That's
I can't
wonderful.
imagine them not giving us a total of $5,000.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A's been very generous, so we'll
All right.
see.
Well, while you're up there, I asked Alex about the cameras.
Yes.
And he told me that y'all got the lowest, not bid, but the lowest vendor. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I will. And my apologies, I could have probably put a little bit more detail in this memo for you guys. Yeah. All the photos. Yeah, I was going to say, it's usually way more fun. So the reason this come about is, as you remember, in budget season, I wasn't here, so it gets a little kind of funky. Nick was here, so that's probably what you guys remember. It was proposed in the CIP to do $15,000 over the course of a few years till we got all the cameras that we wished in the Stallings Park that we felt comfortable with moving forward. What the council decided to do was, hey, go ahead, bundle this. We're just ready to go ahead and get all the coverage now. The benefit of that is these cameras are paid for 10 years. There's a licensing fee that attaches to these cameras. That's what lasts for 10 years. That is able to go up as time goes on. They can't tell me exactly when it's going to go up. All they say is it could. Kind of one of those things like labor materials. It's probably going to go up, but they just don't have that number. So what they decided to do, bundled the 5 cameras that we wanted to get into the park. Labor got kind of dropped by $2,000. It's about $2,000 per camera, and what we did was, for 5 cameras, they lowered it to $8,000 for us. So essentially just a little bit cheaper. And what these cameras do is they're part of Verkada. That is the police system that they went out to bid. They got all the numbers on. They're kind of the QB, and I'm like third string kind of kicker in this situation. So they probably have the most information on these cameras. I'm definitely piggybacking a little bit, but it has been just a wonderful experience so far. In the past, we got that $5,000 grant to go with this camera that's in Stallings Municipal Park already. So we have 1 camera part of the Verkada system that has been a positive experience. All we're doing is adding 5 more in the park to finish the project. I know that Councilmember Ayers, there was a little piece on there that had like a pie slice. If y'all looked at the graphic, I can kind of go into what they look like. Yeah, it's a little funky. So there's 3 different colors. I'm colorblind, so bear with me. It gets a little funky. So here is the police camera that is already installed. And when I say police camera, that just means the camera they choose to place there so you can catch the license plates in and out of the park. This one was the first park camera. This is where we got the $5,000 grant to go towards. And here is all the new proposed locations. As you see, there's a little bit of a pie slice, and Stephen had such a great comment. He was like, well, that's pretty funky that you're not going to cover that mural, that we just put over there. So completely understandable. This graphic is just, yeah, this is truly just to kind of be representative of what is going out there. We're going to make sure that we can view everything we want, and these can be moved in-house by staff. So once they're installed, we kind of have the ability to manipulate them. The reason these locations were chosen is these cameras have to have constant power. And right here are all the spots that we do have constant power. If we want to look at putting cameras out here one day, we're looking at a higher ticket price because we're going to have to run power. We need a pole, might have to have a solar panel, XYZ. These are the most fiscally responsible locations at this time to put cameras that we believe will catch someone coming in if they were to do any sort of not smiled upon recreational activities in Stallings Municipal Park. Any questions? I know that was a lot.
Well, I always ask on the funding. So it sounds like they already gave you some price concessions, correct?
Correct.
Because I always ask, is that their first bid?
Yep.
Because if it is, you tell them no. It's
Right.
Too high, come back with a better price.
Right.
But if you feel like they've already given you enough price concessions, I'll let it go.
Yes, and that's Chief's more expertise if he's somewhere around here.
If I could chime in, when we were looking at the systems for ourselves, the next closest vendor over that 10-year cost, we contracted at $90,000 approximately. The next closest one was $500,000 over that 10-year period.
Yeah.
So there's quite a different camera system, but this was a good product for us. So.
Thank you. All righty, so let's see, on the cameras, you don't need any action now, that's right.
It was, I think we do. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's right, I pulled it off the consent.
Cameras and.
But, yeah, can I get a motion to approve budget ordinance number 2?
So moved.
And the contract
Also
approval.
to authorize the town manager to enter into contract, as it's stated in number 1 there.
Right, you agree to that, Stephen?
I agree with that.
Motion by Mr. Ayers, second by Mr. Hall, all in favor? Ayes have it, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
With those circles, was that there's no danger of reaching into those homes?
No, sir, we shouldn't. With the height of them, we should be okay. And the privacy fence that is now in the back.
Very intentional about when we're working with Verkada to make sure they're not getting into private places, windows, that sort of thing.
A great point, because if I lived there,
All right,
I wouldn't
last
love that.
thing, is
I don't live there. I don't live there.
last
Thank you,
thing,
Mayor.
I asked to pull off the 1B, the mayor, council salaries, the CPI policy. And so I must have been asleep at the switch when council wanted to do a CPI policy for the salaries. We've never had it since 2005, since I've been ever in the council. So for salaries, we either just, we didn't change it much, but we just increased it whenever felt it was time to do it. So
If I recall, I don't remember exactly the conversation, but it was that we were comparatively well underpaid compared to our peer set. I think we took out the highest and the lowest, or there was some methodology, and we still were very low paid, $4,000 a year versus some other stuff. So we settled on a higher monthly annual.
yeah, I got that part. Yeah.
So that's the part we all remember.
Yeah.
And I think we didn't move it to the midpoint, but someone, it might have been me, frankly, recommended tying it to the whole policy, the personnel policy, and incorporating CPI. And I'll defend that, frankly, in the sense that pretty intensive. Personal experience, I know you guys do the same thing, so I'm not ashamed about I would vote for that.
Okay, well, I just wondered,
Yeah.
like I said, I just couldn't recall.
Yeah.
And I think the thing was too, is that we were trying to be sensitive about, I mean, doing large jumps and instead just kind of keeping it more even paced over time.
All right,
I think that was another thing.
all right, well,
I'll make the motion to approve that.
all right, motion by Brad to approve the CPI for council and mayor's salaries.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Ayers. All in favor? Oh, any discussion?
No.
So I voted against this before, but.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah,
I forgot. That's right,
so-
you did. To be consistent.
I'll just vote for it just to get it done.
Well, it was gonna pass 2-1 anyway, so,
Is that how?
It would, you could vote no and it'd still be good.
yeah.
Oh, then I'm voting no.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, what was
Yeah, yeah.
that?
No, no.
No.
You're voting no,
Yeah.
okay.
Ayers and Richardson vote yes.
Everybody gets a CPI except for Graham's district. I think that's what
Yeah, see, that's the way it works, see, so.
the, 2-year term and no pay.
Yeah, my second council meeting in 2005, they gave a large increase,
Really?
and it was 5-1. I voted, of course, voted no,
Of course you did.
but I got the raise.
That's right, there you go. Yeah, and I think that's probably the last time you'll raise in 20 years.
Yeah, so
I mean,
that was one of my big coups there, so. All right.
That's good.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Richardson and Hall. All in favor? Aye. Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Did we make it 9 o'clock?
Shut it completely down.
It was the DOT questions that threw us behind.
Log off.
Oh, track.